or a bunch of people.
Which is super strange because Chael Sonnen is king of controversy. But when it comes from Hickson or something, it's like,
What do you got here?
Allowable.
yeah, let's talk about jumping guard and maybe some of these. Welcome back to the Belts Off Podcast. We are going to talk about illegal techniques and should they be, what's going on in the world of competition jiu-jitsu. So the first one is jumping guard. There are so many catastrophic injuries to knees from jumping guard. Obviously, in most competitions, it's blue belt and up, but still, it's so dangerous to jump guard.
For jump, they don't let the white belts jump it, huh?
White belts cannot jump guard. Yeah, it's very similar to like the scissor takedown. It's like
totally
100% of the weight on the knee.
Just collapses onto it,
Yep.
jumps and lands on it. And if the angle, it's not even the person jumping too, the person getting jumped on could angle off, or be stepping forward while they jump and catch your foot forward, knee locked out, they land right on it.
Yeah,
I've seen some bad ones. I would support that being illegal. Yeah.
So the scissor takedown.
For all ranks or what?
I mean, never for all ranks, right? But you were saying that they let blue belts do it, right?
It's allowed at blue belt, yeah.
Right. I mean, I to be honest, I like the idea of protecting some of the lower ranks. I do, but I hate it when they have these rules at black belt.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like, no, not at black belt. At black belt, we should be able to do pretty much everything.
Right.
For sure.
Even the scissor takedown is only allowed at black belt in the no-gi division.
Only in no-gi.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's another thing. Like, if you ask yourself, why are like the heel hook thing only gi versus or only no-gi versus gi? Why?
I've heard it's the fabric. Gives you a little more traction on it.
But also, defensively, anti-jiu-jitsu wise, like I reach down and grab the sleeve.
You can lock things down more.
And I make sure I own that sleeve with both hands, and I make them finish it with one arm, right? I don't let them lock. I make them have to, they'll be like this, trying to finish it, and they have to lean back. And I think the gi helps the defense, personally. So
So they don't allow heel hooks with the gi?
Right. You have to be brown or black, right?
Depends on the organization.
Okay.
But actually, yeah, even grappling industry only allows heel hook, outside, inside, no-gi, brown and black belt.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? And I don't know why, man. But it's that's one of those where like I'll see a couple of blue belts rolling with the gi on, and one of them will be doing a heel hook or something, and I'll go up to them and I'll be like, all right, look, bro, here's how this works. I don't know why, but don't do that. Right? And the only reason I'll say it is I'll say, like, because I almost want to say, here at home, at our gym, do it, bro, because it seems dumb, right? But I don't want to raise them wrong, right? I don't want them to go then visit another gym, heel hook a guy in the gi and have the coach call me like, really, dude? You're teaching these guys. And so my attitude about it is like, I'll teach you how they want you to do it, and it's like, good etiquette to do it this way. But I hate it when I can't explain to somebody why. Because I was one of those why kids, right? I was like, explain it to me and I'll feel a lot better. So I like to be able to fully explain why, and nobody's given me a good one on why it's a no-gi is okay, gi not okay.
I did see a meme about it on Facebook. Someone saying why you're not learning heel hooks is hindering your jiu-jitsu. And I was like, what's he mean by that? But it's probably because they don't teach it.
Not learning anything will hinder it, right?
Yeah.
You should.
So coming up, I've seen a lot of gyms that they don't entertain certain moves at all. They don't show it. They don't teach it. They're just, if they see it, don't.
Yep.
Where I teach the guys at white belt what something looks like. I'll be like, this is, your straight ankle lock. This is reaping. This is, where a heel hook. This is where you're going to be in danger. Don't turn out of it. If somebody puts this on you at white belt, just tap. It's fine. But you should be aware that it exists, because you might be in a scramble and somebody's like, I got a leg. And then you go the wrong direction and something happens. So I like to be able to teach people, not so that they can do it, but just to be aware of, this is a bad position. This is a dangerous position to be in. Be careful. What I was going to say is we had one of your kids from the kids program come in last night, and we have I think she's 13 in one of our classes, and she loves bicep slicers.
Cool.
She plays the lasso.
Oh, she ain't. My kids ain't never seen no slicers, bro.
And
What'd you do? You sliced up my kids?
I told her. I was like, Layla, no bicep slicers.
No, that would be a good way to learn it, bro.
And then Sophia was like, can you show me it? I was
Yeah,
like,
sure.
I'll let Michael show you
Oh,
that
okay,
because I'm not
okay.
going to step on toes with that
You
one.
can show her a slicer, bro. I just know for sure that's got to be one of those illegal for kids moves. Has to be.
It's only allowed at 18 up. So what I
Okay.
told her is it's illegal,
Yeah.
but you know,
Yeah.
it's on the YouTube channel.
No, for sure.
If you were to find it, it's not me.
I've never taught him slicers, but not for any particular reason, man. Like I think I talked about that one time where I had a gray belt student drop in at NorCal Fighting Alliance, and he got guillotined a bunch. And at that time, I didn't teach my kids guillotines till they were yellows because that was the rule in tournaments. They couldn't guillotine till yellow belt. But I remember that day, it just occurred to me like, why, Michael? Why? Forget these rules. Like these organizations they're not gods, right? They're governing bodies for little tiny little groups. And I can be in the group when I'm in the group and obey the rules. But when I'm in my gym, dude, I want to show everybody everything. So I remember showing guillotines to all my kids that week, and I let them do that stuff in class. We did Ezekiel chokes. Are the kids allowed to Ezekiel choke?
Ezekiel chokes aren't, I believe, allowed.
They're not, right?
Where is it? Ezekiel choke is allowed under 18.
Is okay, cool. Yeah, so they're allowed to do that, but I know some of them aren't. Some of the organizations, other ones don't allow it. But I'm just over that. I'm over going by anybody's rules anymore. And then you tell the person, do a good job of researching if you want to do a tournament.
I actually had an argument with one of the referees in one of our kids' matches because one of our kids got the other person in a triangle and was pulling down on the head.
You told me about that.
Yeah. In IBJJF, it's not legal.
But it is in
Grappling industries, it's completely legal. They had this sign like right next to the mat. He
You're
calls
like pointing.
he calls it off, and I'm like, it is right there. It's like, oh man! And
Did
then
you win it? Did you win
Yeah,
it?
yeah, they reversed it because it was tight. Like the kid was so close to tapping and everything. It was sunk. It was good, but he called it off right before the tap because he was pulling on the head. But referees make mistakes.
They have the hardest job in the world,
It's
dude.
so hard.
I'm the worst because I get mad at refs and I give them a hard time sometimes, and I've never once done that and not felt guilty afterwards. Every single time I want to go apologize to the ref after I do that shit because they have the hardest job.
They're
dude.
doing hundreds of matches that day,
And with different ages, with
yeah.
different rules, and like this might be the first 13 and up age group they've done, and
Yeah. I always like to video the matches, and if there is like, you can kindly go up to the person and be like, hey, this was here. It's kids competitions, right? They're out there, they're trying, they're having fun and everything. Nobody's going to win a grappling industries match and be like world champion, like, and get a sponsorship from it. Like, it's not the major leagues. But yeah, let's look at some of the other ones. Heel hooks are illegal. Two-hand attacks to the trachea. That's an interesting one.
Okay.
Not illegal, or illegal even at brown and black belt. No trachea attacks. Two-hand. So I guess one hand.
Okay,
like,
one hand is allowed.
One hand is allowed.
I mean,
it's always interesting when somebody tries to do like a smother attack or...
one of those chokes.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
It's silly.
Silly.
Smother.
It's the easiest thing in the world to defend.
Smothering can be...
Can you imagine tapping that? You're like, because the guy's like this.
The arm bars.
How silly would you be?
Especially a black belt,
So
right?
you're saying that's legal?
Illegal.
Two hands is...
Two hands is illegal. One hand all day, baby.
Yeah.
All day.
That's crazy.
You go right out there, start the match.
Is that even considered jiu-jitsu?
I guess, bro.
I mean, but you're setting yourself up for... You would have to be in such a weird... I'm thinking... My immediate response was like guard, but like you would never do something like
so
that
dumb,
from a
dude.
guard position. Like you're leaving.
I mean, you
yourself
see
open for everything.
those old school Gracie self-defense videos, and a lot of them start with the guy there, right? The attacker's right there. So to them, it's like a really common thing. I guess. I don't know.
Now this one is... I've seen slams are illegal,
Slams are illegal, yeah.
but I've seen some slams that they didn't call.
Right. Well, it's a questionable thing, right? Because the way, at least in wrestling, the way it works is you can lift a person up in the air, and as long as you don't increase their speed downward, It doesn't matter how hard they hit the mat or how violently they hit the mat. It's when you lift them up and then increase the downward speed. That's the rule.
Which takes it from a throw to a slam.
Right. The slamming definition comes when you increase the downward speed. But if you're just tossing them really high up and gravity's jacking them up, that ain't you. My bad. That was just a throw.
Right. And then obviously no like spiking them on their head or anything intentionally.
Clearly.
And we got, what's the, I think I know what this is, but I'm not quite sure, the clover leaf. Do you know what a clover leaf is?
Yeah.
Isn't it with their hands behind and the legs are engaged?
No, it's actually a leg lock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like if you're familiar with an ankle lace in wrestling, freestyle wrestling, it's kind of like an ankle lace.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it kind of knee bars one of the legs. Yeah. It wraps
Oh, when
one
they're
around
wrapped.
it.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I've
and
seen
then-
that. Yeah.
It's nasty, but why make it illegal, dude?
Right. Yeah, that's,
I mean, honestly, like even this one is debatable. Like, what do you think about slams? Like,
ADCC allows it.
yeah, dude. Like, and if the thing about jiu-jitsu and the scoring system is that they tried to cater the scoring system to a real fight, right? So they give you credit, 2 points worth of credit if you take a person down, right? And if you're on bottom and you end up on top, you get 2 points. You don't get any points for sitting to your butt and pulling guard. That would be silly in a fight, right? Unless you're really high level, so it's like, why not cater it just a little bit more and allow that? And it would encourage better technique, man.
Yeah.
Like if I have my guard closed and you stand up with me, I'm dumb to hold on in real life, right? You're just gonna power bomb me. So it would encourage people doing, opening up the box. They'd maybe have some of those open the guard and attack kind of techniques.
Yeah. As you're being lifted, definitely, drop and shoot.
Totally, man.
But even with like the triangles, attaching yourself to that leg to get the sweep, right? Really focusing on if
good
you
form.
are going to be triangling, make sure that it's perfect.
You shouldn't be able to get picked up.
Exactly.
Totally, man.
And so that would translate to a self-defense piece.
It would.
If you could slam, I'm sure people who like triangles would definitely get to that leg.
They would get really good at not getting lifted, which they should. It would encourage better jiu-jitsu overall. But it would also jack some people up. They'd need 4 ambulances at every tournament, not just one, dude, because...
Where I'm thinking is like if somebody's on your back and somebody stands up and slams backwards or something that's not technique based, but just literally
rugged.
Slam.
Rugged. Like, I mean, I've seen the same thing where they do a front somersault to the side your head's on, trying to spike you. Right? I mean, that's more MMA-ish. Yeah. And if you're doing that in a jiu-jitsu match, whoa, bro, right? But still, it would encourage realism. Yeah.
Let's go back to the points for self-defense with that mindset, because I've heard, and not me, but I've heard that the point system, the way that points are scored in jiu-jitsu competition is not realistic and it's not self-defense based. But exactly what you were saying, I would argue the opposite. When they made the points, it is 100% for self-defense, because if you get that takedown, huge, 2 points. If you're stuck in guard, 3 points for passing that thing.
For getting around those legs? That's vital.
It's huge, because up kicks, all the things that are going to come out, you 3 points, get past those things that are going to be kicking you in the face. And then knee on belly, 2 points, great control position.
Dominant.
You can strike from there, you have lots of options. Mount, obviously, is a...
Both front and back,
Yep.
the most dominant positions in all of jiu-jitsu are worth the most points.
Pulling guard, no points,
No
right?
points.
So it is exactly catered to a self-defense fight situation.
It is. Anybody that says it's not is like...
I've seen it a lot out there that's where that argument, oh, I do self-defense jiu-jitsu, we don't compete in, sport. Or I only do submission only because I don't think I do self-defense jiu-jitsu.
Because you're sick of getting tuned up.
It's silly.
That's silly.
It's Kama Jiu-Jitsu, they do self-defense, and they don't do any, this is Dave Kama, he's under Hickson, but it's super legit gym. They pride themselves on the Hickson curriculum of like self-defense jiu-jitsu. Now they don't drive towards the jiu-jitsu competitions, but they do say go compete, right?
Cool.
And they don't even really teach like the point systems. What he wants them to go out and do is self-defense jiu-jitsu against that sport guy. Just try it. Just do your self-defense jiu-jitsu. Self-defense jiu-jitsu, it's jujitsu.
It's just jiu-jitsu.
But yeah,
You're
go
not pulling guard. Basically, jiu-jitsu without pulling guard.
He's basically like, I'm not going to teach you a new move. I'm not going to tell you to stay in this position for 3 seconds to get your points. No, just go do your jiu-jitsu. If it goes knee to belly to mount immediately, fantastic. You got mount.
And you skipped your knee on belly points, whatever.
Yeah,
Who cares?
and that's their mindset, which is a fine way to look at it.
Yeah, whatever,
Yeah.
dude. Whatever.
And then you have the opposite of like sport schools, and they're like, no, you hold there for 3 seconds. Okay, you got your 3 seconds. Move to the next
like
one.
the total sports.
Oh,
schools,
you
right?
have
Yeah.
mount? Go back to side control so you can get your mount points again.
Well, you can't. That's not illegal.
I've seen.
No, you can't dismount and go back to mount.
You can't?
No. And you can't go backwards. And you can't dismount and go back to. Oh, no.
I've seen people rack
No,
up
you
like-
can't dismount and go back to knee on belly.
Yeah.
That's the one you can't do.
Because
right?
I've seen kids rack up like 40 points.
Just by going to side control
Circling,
and to mount.
circling.
Right.
Yeah.
So what you're right. Because what I did once was I told Brett in a tournament, I was like, go back to knee on belly again. And he did.
Yeah.
And then I was like, two, flipping out, right? And the ref's just sitting there all stoic, shaking
Because
his
side
head.
control is no point.
Yeah, because you don't get two for that. Right? It was one of those times where I was a douche to a ref and he was just like, no, dude, no 2 points.
How would they score it if you're in mount and then you make them roll and take their back and then back to mount?
4. 4
So just-
every time. 4
Elbow over.
Yeah,
elbow
just keep
over.
diff wrapping and then 4. Yeah, dude. I mean, but it's the same thing. It's even a bigger swing.
Yeah.
If you really want to jack somebody up, is just go. You're in side control, right, with knee on belly. Put your foot back in their guard.
Yeah.
Slice it back out to knee on belly. You get 3 for the pass, 2 for the knee on belly.
Man.
That's a 5-point swing every time you put your big toe back in their guard.
And the guy on bottom's just going, just
like
arm bar me.
literally, dude. If you just put your
arm
big
bar
toe
me.
in their guard and they pinch on it,
Yeah.
pull it out,
Yeah.
boom, another 5-point swing. 3 for the pass, 2 knee on belly. Yeah,
You're begging for a submission at that point.
I feel like they need to make some like adjustments to that rule. I think you should only be allowed to do that once. Once.
I agree, because giving up a dominant position is silly.
Yeah, and the person just, you putting your foot there and then pulling it out doesn't equate to that. Like, if we really want this to be like a fight, what good does that do you in a fight?
Yeah.
It doesn't do you 5 extra points.
And that's where the sport or the competition, it gets a little silly. But the points are designed for self-defense.
Hey, you know that you ever watched a fight to win? Mm-hmm. They're allowed to slam. It's badass too, bro. Mm-hmm. It's cool. They get technical with their slams. Like, I was watching this one guy pick guys up in the guard and slam them, right? Mm-hmm. But it was sloppy. He was just hugging and picking them up and slamming. That's all he was doing. And I saw this other guy was in the guard. He bread cuttered, bro. Picked him up and slammed with the bread cutter. Dude slept, man, right away, man. Because it wasn't a bread cutter on his throat. It was a bread cutter on his jaw. And he just, bro, that's a knockout technique. That'll kill you.
Flying submissions are also in that same jumping guard category. They're allowed at blue, purple. You see, it's on Instagram a lot, right? You see the flying triangles.
They're flashy. They're cool.
You see, but I just wouldn't feel comfortable enough ever doing that.
You drill them like any technique, bro. You probably weren't really comfortable doing a lot of things until you...
that's true.
Yeah, because flying techniques are awesome. They're awesome, bro, and they're all timing and precision. And they're great. They're amazing. Now again, though, if you're trying to say, like, should I jump and wrap my legs around this guy's upper body in a real fight? No. Mm-hmm. You're going to, But at the same time, I mean, if you're really confident, had a couple beers, and you're like, I'm going to go for it, bro. Okay.
High level, legit or not legit, cartwheel pass.
Oh, totally legit. Are you kidding me? But again, timing, precision, everything. You can't do it while they're laying on their back. Like you did one to me today, but I was on my turtle shell, so it was just the easiest thing in the world to defend. But if they're sitting up, bro, or even better yet, like they're about to sit up, time that, bro. It's clean.
Yeah. When they're sitting up, they have less mobility with their feet.
Right.
Even when they're laying back a little bit, like, I wasn't trying to get like north-south on you. I'm trying to get like outside leg.
Like angle. You're just angling off, right?
And
Using it to angle.
I find myself getting stuck with like these knee shields and things, and just the battle between me and a giant leg.
Right.
And I try to like create it. I try to get that pop out, and sometimes I can get it, sometimes I can't.
Yeah.
But that battle, I burn so much energy trying to get around somebody who's got giant legs.
Totally. That is an option. Now, when you do it, I would grip though. You did it free. You kind of freed it, right? Like you're almost like a real cartwheel.
Yeah.
But if you had a gi grip while you did it, big difference, man.
I need to play with that a little bit more because I haven't given it the time that I should in order to be doing it.
First time I ever seen you know.
It's a great pass. Great pass. It just takes like, it's one of those that's beautiful and flashy, but it takes extra good timing, precision.
I've done it a few times successfully on like big guys. It's like, I just want to get past the leg. I just want to get past the leg. And it works all right. But I definitely need to like refine that and make it clean. So, competition, there you go. There are our thoughts. I don't think there's any more controversial things.
So we had the single hand attack to trachea.
Single hand.
So there is this one and this one.
And that is legal at white. Just no kids.
Kids, that's good. Don't be throwing that in the kids' classes, bro. Jeez.
But yeah, everything else. So, from arm locks, gi chokes, shoulder locks, rear naked chokes, arm triangles, guillotines on the ground. So kids, if they do a guillotine, they have to pull guard.
No standing guillotines.
No standing guillotines for kids. And then Ezekiel chokes are allowed.
Good.
Triangle chokes, pulling the head with grappling industries, it's legal. For kids, in IBJJF, kids, no. Can't pull in the head. You have to finish it with your legs.
Why am I doing Ezekiel with that? Bro, I was telling the kids class the other day, Ezekiel's are the best, bro, because UFC won. Isn't that how he finished Hoist Gracie? I think he won. The UFC won, first ever won with an Ezekiel. All right, because he wore his gi. They let him wear his gi back in the day. And I always tell the kids classes, like, the Ezekiel choke's the one, guys, because you could do it from anywhere. Literally anywhere. The craziest place to do it from would be inside their guard, because if they know jiu-jitsu, they're probably going to armbar you. But if they don't, you can do the Ezekiel from anywhere, right? And it's one of those few gi moves that doesn't take that criticism of, but not everybody's walking around wearing a bathrobe, right? That's the critique of gi techniques. But I'm wearing the long sleeve shirt, bro. Maybe I wear my bathrobe everywhere I go, right? And that's all I need. Or even a strong bracelet, right? Can do an Ezekiel choke. Yeah. Honest to God, like it's one of those techniques that's gi only, but applies to life. It's great.
I call it like white belt kryptonite. We talked
a
little about this. And what often happens is once that, if you're doing it from closed guard or a position, oftentimes what will happen is they'll get swept and they'll finish it from mount.
Yep.
Or bottom mount.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like they think they're going to get out of it by changing the position. By the time that the sweep is done and they're locked up, it's over.
Totally. The majority of them I see that start in mount get finished when the guy bucks them over, but they just keep it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's how mine happened.
Yeah. So many white belt competitions end with a good Ezekiel choke.
That's good, man.
And I think part of that happens because at like white and blue, there's so much forward pressure.
Yeah.
When you're in somebody's guard, it's like
one direction.
Everything goes forward, trying to smash and stack.
Right.
So often, you can teach somebody the perfect knee slide and everything. They get into that first or second competition, and it's like forward.
Yeah. Totally, man.
Grabbing and pulling with everything they got. Stack, stack, stack. It's funny because some of the things that we see over and over and over is like, I'm going to tell you not to do this, but you're going to do this, and we're going to, it's fine. We'll deal with it after. So often, you can tell somebody don't do that, but until they've made the mistake and they're getting Ezekiel'd, even though they're in mount. How disheartening is that? If you like the content, guys, make sure that you like and subscribe. We'll come at you with the next one. All right.